The final hug. One cold night, under a silent, shelterless sky, a boy and girl drove home quietly from the movies. The air between them felt heavier, colder, and full of the unsaid. His hands gripped the wheel, and through his eyes faced the road. His heart already felt lost somewhere, at least in the unspoken words that hang between them. In the defending silence, the hum of the engine filled the car, but the boy's thoughts were elsewhere. He had sensed it for days now, a ship, a distance, a coldness he could not place. He had not loved at his job the way he used to. He had not held his hand the same like it had meant something to her. He could feel her slipping away like sand through his fingers. But that night the silence felt final. With every passing minute, he could sense the end growing nearer. Finally, the girl spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. Can we pull over? He need to talk. The boy's heart sank at the word. He knew what was coming, but that did not make it any easier. His hand shook as he turned the steering wheel and brought the car to a slow stop on the side on the road. They sat there for a moment, the only sound the ticking of the cooling engine, the faint rustle of the trees in the wind. Then she turned out to him, her eyes filled with sadness, and she said the words he had feared. I don't think this is working anymore. The words hung. Anymore, the words hung in the air, heavy and sharp, cutting into him like knives. He stared at her, unable to speak, unable to breathe. I am sorry, he whispered. I don't feel the same way anymore. Things have changed. His heart broke. A single tear slid down his cheek, but he quickly wiped it away, not wanting her to see his pain, not wanting to make this harder. For her, she turned away, unable to meet his eyes. For a long moment, they sat there, the silence between them now more painful than ever. Finally, with trembling hand, the boy reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, folded note he had written it weeks ago, when he first started to feel the distance between them, when he first realized that things were not the same. He had hoped he would never have to give it to her. But now, with his heart breaking, he knew he had to. He handed her the notes without a word. She took it hesitantly, her fingers brushing against his forehead. For the last time, she unfolded the note, and as her eyes scanned the words, she felt her heart clench. It read, "Without your love, I would die." Tears welled up in her eyes, but before she could say anything, before she could explain, a sudden surge of fires purchased. The night time seemed to slow as the bright headlight of a car survived. Toward them, the boy tried to react, tried to shield her, but it was too late. The car slammed into the driver's side, the force of the impact crushing him instantly. The sound of metal twisting and glass shattering filled the air, flooded by an air silence. The girl sat there in shock, her mind unable to process what had just happened. Blood dripped from a cut on her forehead, but she was otherwise unhurt. She turned to the boy, but he was not moving. His body was still, his eyes closed, his face pale. "No," she whispered, her voice shaking. "No, no, no." She reached out, her hand trembling, and shook him, but he did not respond. "Please," he sobbed, "please wake up. Please." But he was gone, the boy who had loved her so deeply, who had written her that note, was gone. She closed against him, sobbing, her heart breaking into a million pieces. She had wanted to end things, but she never wanted this. She never wanted to lose him forever. As the siren ambulance of an ambulance wailed in the distance, she clutched the note in her trembling fingers. The last word he had ever written to her echoed in her mind over and over again. "With your love, I would die."